Okay, so we're going to continue the run. There are 3 standard files in an application directory. There's load, which includes the code, run, which calls load and then starts the code, changes directory. You have to have an extra semicolon because the compiler is 1 token ahead. If you guys want to be a wise guy and fix it, the pre-compiler is there's not a separate pass for pre-compiling. Anyway, bottom line is, at this point, it finishes the semicolon, it gets the next thing, and the next thing is this include, and you want it to do the, anyway, you know what the problem is. So the run, the load, the run. Now there's an interesting feature when you press F5. Let's go into this quail. Okay, so we're in this file. Now if we press F5, it starts the application. Guess what it did? It searched the directory for run. When I pressed F5, it will search upwards to parent directories also. So if you have a subdirectory of an application, anyway, so what is it we're in? I forgot. We're in quail. Okay, so that's the beg for meat. So this prints a passage. It's about, anyway, then it shows birds dying. Okay, so that's a funny story. You might want to read the modern translation. Numbers 11 is the passage. So this is a bird flapping, bird upside down. I think it interpolates between these two. Interpolation has one serious problem, and that is keeping track of the line segments, especially if you have short lines. It's a nightmare. I don't know if it's almost not worth it, but this is how we roll. In other words, we do low-res graphics, and this is reasonable for, anyway. Now, this is imported, I didn't want to do this, but I did it anyway. You can import binaries from another file, and you can get them, index them by number or by tag. Anyway, so now we have dependencies. Up to this point, it was not like HTML. HTML has all separate. Mine was all self-contained like a PDF, but now I have links. So that's opening the door to, you know what happens, people are going to go crazy with it. It's kind of like how with DOS applications, you could install an application by just copying a directory. You really want to fight to keep it simple. You want to fight with all your might. Then you started adding installers, and then you couldn't copy it. It's a nightmare. So anyway, so let's see if there's anything interesting about this. I think it's basically the same thing as the last program we saw. Pretty much. So I set the text attribute. This is kind of tricky. There's a document that has attributes, and then there's a attribute in the task record. So it sucks having to keep track of different ones. I do some of my graphics with text. I do background, light cyan, and then I repeat a character turn. H5 is five times the character and then this is a %C in the character turn. That's kind of ugly. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. Anyway, so we make use of the text background, and we do interpolation. I think that's all there is to it. So yeah, the critical thing is background text. Now, document clear will get rid of those backgrounds and restore it. Now, sometimes you put a hold and it won't be deleted. So the word wrap has a hold usually. There's no way to delete it if it has a hold flag. We're using the same song. I guess normally we start a new song. Anyway, that's all there is to it. Well, let's get God to talk. So we go to God direct. Now let's, I'm going to the random number site. Random number. This is a government issue random number for the minute of 5:56. Every minute there's one random number. So there's no cheating. I could pick from between 5 or 10 minutes, but there's only 5 or 10 possible numbers. It's not like it's every second. Okay, so here's the number. God says, and when the prophet brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, it is the man of God who was disobedient unto the word of the Lord. Therefore the Lord hath delivered him unto the lion. Oh, God said it was a covenant that you do an offering, which hath torn him and slain him according to the word of the Lord, which he spake unto him. And he spake to his son, saying, saddle me the ass. They saddled him, and he went and found the carcass cast away, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass, and the lion had not eaten of the carcass, nor torn the ass. And the prophet took the carcass of the man of God, laid it upon the ass, brought him back to the old prophet to mourn and bury him. And he laid his carcass in the grave, and they mourned over him, saying, alas, my brother. And it came to pass, after he buried him, that he spake to his son, saying, when I am dead. Okay, so I think he's talking about doing an offering.